Hey guys, since the last layout update video, I received a few questions from guys wanting to know just a little bit more about how I wired up these terminal blocks and wire I used and so forth. So I'm just going to make a short little video here and show you guys what I used and what I did. So we'll get right to it in just a second. Okay, what we have here is just a bit of an overview of some of the materials and tools I used in order to complete my wiring for my layout. What you see before you here, I've got a terminal block. This one's a 12 port by MTH. You can buy, obviously from MTH, you could actually buy other aftermarket ones, if you will, or I should say, different manufacturers, versions from big box stores, hardware stores, electrical supply shops, whatever you prefer. I just went with their product because it's what I liked, so that's what I went with. I've got a 6040 rosin core solder, wire strippers, some just flathead pliers. These are the electrical connectors I used right here. These are what I utilize in order to connect the wires to the transformer, to the TIU, and then also to these terminal blocks as well down here. In a little while I'll show you how I just set this connection up. Very basic and simple. I also have obviously a set of wire cutters, flathead screwdriver, soldering station off to the side here. And in a moment we'll just go ahead and get going, and I will show you simple connections I used, what I did, and we'll take it from there. Okay, what you're looking at here is just a label of the wire I use, which as you can see is 14 gauge 2-wire speaker wire, clear. What that simply means is that the sheathing on it is clear, and I use this again for everything. Went from my transformer to the TIU, from my TIU to the terminal blocks, and from the terminal blocks out to all my different track feeders. Worked well, it worked perfectly, and I get a great signal. I'm getting solid 10s throughout the whole layout. Now after this we'll move on to actually show you how I made up some of the connections to that terminal block you saw in the opening shot. Okay guys, we're back. What we're going to be doing here in this segment very quickly is I'm going to show you how I make my connections to the wire itself. Just going to go ahead and tighten in on this a little bit. Okay, and as you're able to see here, utilizing that 14 gauge 2-wire speaker wire, it's stranded wire. First thing you're going to need to do is to actually take a utility knife, is usually the easiest thing, or you could actually just use a pair of wire cutters if you've got a good steady hand, to separate these two wires from each other. They're connected currently by this clear sheathing that's on the wire. I don't have a utility knife here with me, unfortunately, at the moment. I'm just going to demonstrate it with like a screwdriver. What I found that works really well is instead of trying to pierce through the sheathing with the utility knife and then moving the knife, you want to just pierce through the sheathing in the center and then actually pull the wire, and that'll tend to give you a cleaner cut right through here, and you'll be less apt to maybe cut some of the wire itself or something to that effect. For this video though, right now I'm going to go ahead and cut mine just with the pair of wire cutters I have. Just get it right into the center between your two wires, make the cut, and what I want to do is, this is actually a little bit short, so I'm just going to go ahead and widen out on the shot here a little bit more. What we're going to do is we're going to separate these two wires. What I like to try to do is just grab them with my fingers, just pull it apart if you can. If not, cut a little more with your utility knife or wire cutters, which I'm going to do that now because my hands are a little bit slippery. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're just going to slip this apart like so. We're going to take our wire strippers. These wire strippers I love. They're the kind that actually grip the wire, okay? And as you're stripping off the sheathing, it'll hold the wire in place and just kind of slide that sheathing right off. So I'm going to strip about a 1/2 inch. Maybe actually a little bit more. About a 1/2 inch or so off of the wire. What we're going to do is we're going to be utilizing this type of electrical connector right here. Go ahead and zoom in a bit for you. What this is a spade connector. Typically you can find these for automotive applications. You know, any of the automotive parts stores, even the big box stores, your local hardware store will have these. Works really well. We're just going to be inserting the wire through the back here till it's just about flush with the front of this blue plastic connector. And then we're going to crimp it down with our pliers. And I like to apply a little bit of heat and solder to the connection just to ensure a good electrical connection. So we're going to go ahead and try to do that now. And sometimes this can fight you a little bit, but we got it through nicely. And again, I'm just going to pull it out till it's even. I take my just flathead pliers here. I'm going to crimp this down nice and tight. Excuse me. So now we have a very good connection here. You're able to see that. Well, the camera tries to focus, unfortunately. There we go. So now we've crimped it down, and again we've got our wire flush with the end of the connector here, as you can see. So now what I want to do, since I'm kind of freehanding this, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of solder. Take my soldering iron. I want to just put it at the tip where the wire meets the connector here. Let it put some heat into it. Okay, take your solder, give it just a little bit. A little bit of solder initially helps it transfer the heat a little bit quicker. And when you're doing this, once you get hot enough, you'll be able to see it actually draw the solder in. You'll see it'll actually wick right into the connector here. Okay, and that's good. We got our connection soldered. I'm going to give that a quick moment just to cool. But as you can see, we've got our good connection right here. There we go. Nice and clean and simple, soldered. Okay. Got a good positive connection on here. This thing's not going to go anywhere. I grab it with the pliers, just give it a little tug. It's not going to move. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and widen out on the shot some more. And I'm just using for this demonstration a short piece of wire here. But what I like about these connectors here that I'm using, this particular one, this one, like I said, is a spade connector. It's for 14 to 16 gauge wire, which obviously is perfect since I'm utilizing 14 gauge speaker wire. The spade is just wide enough to where it'll fit into this terminal block very snugly. Let me go ahead and show you that right here. Let's go ahead and tighten up on the shot real quick. Let me reposition this so you get a better view. For this, we'll go ahead and utilize our number 1 terminal here. Loosen your screw a bit. And then again, it'll fit in very snugly between these plastic dividers here, which I like. Let me get this under a little bit better there. And you just insert your connector down in underneath the clamp that's behind the screw on the terminal block here. I'll loosen that just a bit more. It's in. We're going to go ahead and just tighten that down just to snug it up. Like that. Now we've got a good, clean connection. Okay? Nice and simple, nice and clean. Alright? I'm going to take you over now. I'm going to show you my finished ones on my layout, and then that'll conclude the video. Okay, and now we're back to kind of where we began. I'm just going to zoom in a bit more on this finished terminal block on my layout. Give you guys a better view of some things here. Now, as you can see, I've got all my connections made up here in the same method that I showed you in the earlier segment here. Same thing. Got our positives hooked up, obviously our grounds as well. All nice solid connections going to all the different terminals on here. Nice, clean. And as I tidy up the rest of the wiring here, I'm going to widen out again. Because now that I've done all my testing and the track works good, I got to clean up this whole spaghetti bowl of wiring over here. So, and then down below again, we got the same connectors here coming from our TIU into the terminal block as well. Again, same type of connectors, connections made up in the same method. Works very well, very clean, very simple. And very cost effective. I found the 250-foot spools of speaker wire. They had them on sale at my big box store, so keep your eyes out for whatever wire you prefer to work with. Again, this is just what I used. There's so many different types of ways of going about doing this. This was just to demonstrate kind of what I did. And just remember, you know, there's really not too many one-way type scenarios in this hobby. There's so often you're going to find there's so many ways to accomplish the same task. You know, just go about what you're comfortable with and how you enjoy, what you enjoy working with, products you like to utilize, and again, don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and most importantly, make sure you enjoy this hobby and embrace it for what it is, and enjoy the creativity. And when you get the chance, share it with another. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Hope you enjoyed it. There's going to be more videos to come. Thanks for watching.